Hello, my name is Devin Tracy, and I'm currently trying to raise funds to go on a mission trip to a small little village in West Bengal, India. I'm going to say everything there is to say about that trip and what we're doing in the next video. You'll find right beside this one. But in this video, I'm just going to talk more about my own personal experience with Christ and what's driving me to go on this trip. If you're finding this video on YouTube, I have left a link to the GoFundMe page right in the description. And if you're finding it on the GoFundMe page, you're already there. So, I think we should probably just get into my story. I'm going to tell you just real briefly. I came to Christ when I was 13 years old. I actually met a man at a fair while my sister was teaching 4-H, and he was working at this little booth called the Godmobile with a 2-question test to see whether or not you're going to go to heaven. And the questions were, 1, do you believe you will go to heaven when you die? 2, why? Okay, I now know that the correct answer to those questions are yes, because Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, died for my sins so that I can. So, I talked to this gentleman for 3 hours that day, and at the end of it, he led me in prayer. I accepted Christ into my life, and I turned around, and over the next 2 days, I volunteered at that booth and helped bring 14 people to Christ. And I've been passionate about God ever since. I've considered myself an act of evangelism. To date, I've helped bring more than 20 other individuals to Christ, and I can't say that I did it. The Lord used me in His ways, and I was lucky enough to be there when it happened. And I consider myself really blessed on that. I've gone to 1 mission trip in my life so far, and it was a mission trip to a small village in northern British Columbia, Canada, where it was just a vocation Bible study, and we got to connect with the kids there. It was an amazing experience. And since then, I haven't actually considered mission work. It was a fun experience. I consider myself blessed to go, but I never considered it after that. My pastor at my church has actually invited me on half a dozen mission trips since, at least. And my excuse for not being able to go was always because of schoolwork. School was always in the way. And this last time, I had heard about the trip and the church is putting on, and I hadn't really thought about it. And he sends me a text and says, "Hey, I'd love to take you to India with me." And I'm thinking, I'm still not done with school. Actually, this is my last term, and my workload is harder than it's ever been, so I really don't think I can go. But I text him, I want more information. So we schedule a time to meet, and just the way that things work out, it's actually, I'm going with him and driving up a friend of his from India to the airport to go home. And I get in the car, and he set me up, because the first thing his friend asks me is, "So I hear that you're going to India." And I go, no. I told Paul we'd talk about it. I told my pastor that we would talk about it. And he goes, "Well, why are you interested in mission work?" I never considered it, and I never talked about it. But my knee-jerk response was, I've been invited on half a dozen mission trips, and I've turned down every single one. And it's always been because of school. And just this last month, I was forced off of my Bible reading plan because I was having to read a book a day for school. And even though I never considered it before, I realized I am done putting things like school and life and everything that comes away in the way of the Lord's work. And when I said this and I spoke this to him, I realized that this was not my choice. That as much as I'm indifferent towards it, as much as I maybe don't want to go, it's not my choice. The Lord told me in that moment that I'm going. And for that reason, I've been very much at peace with everything along the process of actually getting this done. And that's why I'm extremely comfortable and confident that I will be able to find the funds to go. That's why I'm able to sit back relaxed and just tell the Lord, I trust you, you're going to take care of me. That's why even though I'm leaving in the middle of my last term as a senior at Pacific Lutheran University, I'm leaving in the middle of my last term when my course load is the hardest it's ever been, and I'm at peace about it. And I just know it's going to work out. And I can have that faith and I can have that support in the Lord because I'm doing His work because He told me to. So that's a little quick recap on my own personal walk with Christ to date and why I feel compelled to go on this trip. Go ahead and click the next video and you'll be able to see what the Richmond trip entails, what we're doing, why we're going. And again, if you're finding this video on YouTube, there is a link to the GoFundMe account in the description. Thank you for listening.